Have you ever wondered if the Earth is trying to communicate with us? What about the Sun or the Moon or other planets? Some scientists believe our planet and other celestial objects have been sending us messages since the formation of our solar system. And the messages are a warning of impending massive earthquakes and volcanic explosions. So, the question is, can we interpret the warnings in time? Scientists and researchers are starting to believe that low-frequency electromagnetic resonances, known as the Schumann resonances, which are those mysterious electromagnetic waves that encircle our planet, might hold the key to predicting earthquakes. Let's start at the core. Not the Earth's core, but the atmospheric cavity between Earth's surface and the ionosphere. This space acts like a giant waveguide. Every time a bolt of lightning strikes, it sends electromagnetic waves bouncing between the ground and the upper atmosphere. These waves resonate, and we call the result Schumann resonances. Named after physicist Winifred Otto Schumann, these are naturally occurring low-frequency electromagnetic waves with fundamental frequency of around 7.83 Hz. Other harmonic frequencies include 14, 20, 26, and 33. Think of them as Earth's background music, a natural rhythm that exists all around us. What's wild is that some researchers are beginning to correlate anomalies in these frequencies with upcoming seismic events. Over the past few decades, scientists have noticed that Schumann resonances sometimes deviate. Their amplitude increases or frequencies shift just days or even hours before an earthquake. In one study, data from the 2011 Tohoku earthquake in Japan showed unusual shifts in the Schumann frequency spectrum days before the quake. This has led some researchers to believe that the Earth's electromagnetic field is subtly altered by the stress and strain building up in tectonic plates. Essentially, before an earthquake strikes, the Earth might emit signals, and these signals may ripple through the atmosphere in ways that we can measure. But here's where it gets more fascinating. These resonances don't act alone. They're influenced by cosmic forces far beyond our planet. Let's start with the Moon, our ever-watchful and, frankly, kind of strange satellite. Its gravitational pull causes tides in the oceans, but it also causes land tides, subtle deformations in the Earth's crust. During full moons and new moons, the gravitational pull is strongest. These periods are known as syzygies, where the Earth, Moon, and Sun align. During these times, tectonic stress can peak, increasing the chances of seismic activity. Now, combine this with increased gravitational stress with a spike in Schumann resonance anomalies, and you may have a stronger signal pointing towards a possible earthquake. Researchers have started to map this, showing how specific lunar phases correlate with increased seismic activity, especially when combined with other cosmic triggers. Now on to the Sun, a nuclear powerhouse constantly emitting solar winds, solar flares, and coronal mass ejections, or CMEs. When these charged particles reach Earth, they disturb the magnetosphere, often causing geomagnetic storms. During a geomagnetic storm, the Earth's magnetic field becomes highly agitated, which in turn affects the ionosphere, the very upper boundary that defines Schumann resonances. More solar activity equals more atmospheric ionization, more distortion in the Schumann signals. Studies have shown a potential link between solar flares and increased seismic activities, especially when these events coincide with lunar gravitational stress. It's like cosmic gears are turning together, winding up the Earth's fault lines until a quake is triggered. So if more solar activity correlates with more seismic activity, we might want to pay more attention to the 11-year solar cycles, especially solar peaks. And what year is the solar peak in the current solar cycle? 2025. Now let's zoom out even further to the planetary alignments. While mainstream scientists dismiss other planets' ability to affect Earth's seismology, there is a growing interest in how planetary gravitational pull, especially from Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus, might exert subtle tidal forces on Earth. These aren't strong enough to cause quakes directly, but they may act as triggers, nudging already stressed fault lines toward instability. When certain planetary configurations align with solar activity and lunar phases, some researchers observe clusters of earthquakes, particularly in vulnerable seismic zones like the Pacific Ring of Fire. For instance, in 2023, an alignment of Jupiter-Venus-Sun occurred just days before a 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit Turkey. Coincidence? Maybe. But the timing is compelling some scientists to think there may be a correlation worth exploring. Now, a quick search on the mainstream stance is that seismic activity is primarily influenced by tectonic plate movement and geological factors, not planetary alignments. But saying seismic activity is caused by tectonic plate movement is not explaining what causes tectonic plate movement in the first place. So you can decide for yourself. In fact, that's why I created this channel, to talk about interesting theories and stories, give my take, and see what other people think. The pursuit of truth is endless, and while it's one we have to take for ourselves, it doesn't have to be alone. So I'm hoping that you'll join me on that journey. So what else can we use to predict seismic activity? Well, long before seismographs, humans looked to animals for signs of looming disaster. Birds flying at night, dogs barking erratically, or deep-sea fish such as oarfish, also known as the Doomsday Fish, swimming to the surface. All these behaviors have been reported just before earthquakes. One theory? Animals are sensitive to electromagnetic changes in the environment. Since Schumann resonances are part of that electromagnetic backdrop, any disruptions could be detected biologically. In fact, both animals and humans have been found to respond to changes in geomagnetic conditions. We're essentially biological antennas attuned to Earth's rhythm, whether we know it or not. So can Schumann resonances, cosmic alignments, and solar activity actually help us predict earthquakes? The answer right now is not quite yet, but we're getting closer. While mainstream science remains skeptical, there's increasing support for multifactorial models that combine Schumann resonance monitoring, solar and geomagnetic data, lunar, solar, and planetary alignment, and crustal stress modeling. Some researchers are using AI and machine learning to detect patterns hidden in massive datasets, patterns that humans might miss. It's a blend of ancient wisdom and modern science, listening to the Earth while watching the stars. So what messages are we receiving from the cosmos right now? Well, currently in mid-year 2025, we are at a solar maximum. We're seeing a spike in oarfish sightings on beaches in California, India, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, and more. And we have increased seismic and volcanic activity all over the globe, including from two ancient volcanoes that are making a lot of noise again. And scientists are watching closely. Santorini isn't just a beautiful island, it's the site of one of the largest eruptions in human history. Santorini and nearby Colombo have registered over 20,000 earthquakes this year, with hundreds over 4.0 in magnitude. Mainstream scientists say these quakes are tectonic, not volcanic. But the last time Santorini's caldera erupted, 3,600 years ago, it triggered a 20-meter tsunami that devastated the Minoan civilization with one of the most explosive volcanoes ever witnessed by humans. While it's not settled if these earthquakes are a sign of magma rising in 2025, the sheer volume of quakes is a reminder this caldera is still alive. And local authorities remain vigilant. Restaurants in the area are even offering earthquake magnitude-based discounts, though I'm not sure if you would really want a big discount in that case. Someone in the comments will probably come up with the best earthquake-related menu item, like lava cake or something. Now to Campi Flegrei, Italy, a supervolcano resting underneath Naples, home to over 3 million people. Since early 2025, the region has seen over 3,000 earthquakes, including a magnitude 4.4 earthquake in March, which was one of the largest in the last 40 years. Mainstream scientists say these swarms are likely caused by gas and not fluid pressure underground, at least not yet. But here's the concern. Campi Flegrei, which has a volcanic explosivity index, which is exactly what it sounds like, of 7 and has erupted dozens of times over the past 15,000 years, including the Campanian and Nimbrite eruption, which was the largest volcanic event in Europe in the last 200,000 years. For point of reference, the most famous modern American volcanic eruption came from Mount St. Helens, which has a VEI of 5. So what if Campi Flegrei erupted today? Well, in a word, it would be catastrophic. Tens of thousands could be killed in minutes by pyroclastic flows. Ash clouds could shut down all European air travel, likely for weeks. Toxic gases like sulfur dioxide would poison the air and rain down as acid rain. Major cities like Naples, Rome, and even parts of northern Africa could be affected. And it could trigger a volcanic winter, dropping temperatures and disrupting agriculture globally. In short, Campi Flegrei is not just an Italian problem, it's a planetary threat. One of the only volcanoes that could change the climate and the world economy overnight. To help us put more context around these volcanoes, let's go back to the Mount St. Helens eruption in 1980 in Washington state. In the month before the eruption, over 10,000 small quakes were recorded. A magnitude 5.1 tremor triggered the massive landslide and blast. 57 people died, and ash reached 11 U.S. states, including my home state of Montana. Now let's go back in history a little further, to 1883, to the Krakatoa volcanic explosion in between the islands of Java and Sumatra. Before the eruption, warning signs came for months, with hundreds of earthquakes and minor blasts. The final eruption was heard an unbelievable 3,000 miles away, the equivalent of a volcano in Portugal being heard in Boston, Massachusetts. This is the loudest sound in recorded history. When it exploded, it obliterated 70% of the island and had the force of 200 megatons, which is 10,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped at Hiroshima. Krakatoa killed over 36,000 people, altering global weather for years. On the VEI, the Krakatoa explosion registered as a 6. So now, back to the present in 2025. When we see thousands of earthquakes in Santorini, weekly tremors and buildup in Campi Flegrei, and a planetary system pulsing with solar flares, magnetic shifts, and planetary alignments, well, it's not a guarantee of doom. But we know it's just a matter of time until a massive event occurs again. The warning messages have been sent, so the question is, are you reading them? The Earth speaks in frequencies, the objects in the night sky behave and align with silent meaning, and somehow they all interact in a sort of communication, if we could just learn how to decode it. The one thing we continue to find is that the more we study our universe, the more we learn that everything is connected. So thank you for connecting with me today. If you found this topic fascinating, please give this video a like, leave a comment. I'd love to know what your theories are, and share it with someone who's into space, science, cosmic mysteries, earth science, astronomy, and kooky stuff that eventually becomes mainstream stuff. And it would mean a lot to me personally if you would subscribe. This is a brand new channel, and I'm going to be making a lot more videos on what fascinates me and what I make of this indiscernible world. And that's why I created this channel, to share the things I find the most interesting and find people who wonder about the same things that I do. So please follow along, introduce yourself, get involved, and let's figure this stuff out together. And if you'd like to keep up with the show, follow us on social media or check out our website at bradthoughts.com. And there we have our production calendar and links to everything that you'd need all in one place. Plus, you can submit your favorite subjects to potentially have them made into an episode. Lastly, if you'd like to support the show and help us take our content to the next level, you can become a Patreon member at the link below, or pick up something from my personal line of clothing and merchandise, Dagger of Truth. And you can do that at daggeroftruth.com. Thank you again for watching and your support. It truly means the world to me. So until next time, keep going.